Welcome to Haunted Horizons. If you love ghost stories, true horror vibes, and nightmares that follow you, subscribe now, because tonight's story isn't letting you go. The Backyard Séance? The summer night was warm and still, the air heavy with the scent of damp grass and burnt charcoal from someone's old barbecue. Dev's backyard, surrounded by half-rotted fences and tall, looming trees, stretched out like a forgotten corner of the world, just far enough from the house to feel unsafe. It was Dev's idea. A stupid, harmless joke. That's what they told themselves. We'll dig a little pit, make a circle of candles, read this thing I found on a Reddit thread, Dev had said. Supposedly it opens a gate to the other side. Mira rolled her eyes but lit a candle anyway. Rishi laughed nervously, shifting from foot to foot. The three of them crouched in the grass around a crude circle drawn with a stick and rock salt. In the center, a shallow hole in the dirt, barely a foot deep. Dev called it the mouth. "Okay," he said, holding the print out. "Ready?" Mira nodded. Rishi hesitated. Then they began. Dev read the chant. It wasn't in any language they recognized, just harsh syllables, sharp like broken glass. Each word tasted wrong in the air, like they didn't belong in this world. The candles flickered, though there was no wind. The trees creaked louder than they should have, and then a knock from the ground. 1, 2, 3. They froze. "Was that you?" Rishi whispered. "How the hell could it be me?" Dev hissed, dropping the paper. It came from inside the hole. The flames stretched upward, then extinguished all at once, leaving them in darkness. Mira scrambled for her phone light, hands shaking. The beam hit the pit and stopped cold. The dirt was undisturbed. No sign of the knocking, no sign of movement. But something was different. There was now a small, black stone in the center of the pit, perfectly round, glossy, and warm when Dev touched it. They should have buried it again. They should have never touched it. But they did. That night, after everyone went home, Dev heard it again. From the backyard, knock, knock, knock. And then a whisper through the window screen. "You called me." Dev didn't sleep. He lay on his back staring at the ceiling fan as it turned too slowly like it was tired. Every few minutes he'd glance at the window, half expecting to see a face pressed to the mesh screen. The whisper still clung to the room like cigarette smoke. "You called me." He told himself it was Rishi trying to mess with him, or Mira, or some animal in the yard. Anything normal, anything that didn't mean something answered. Then came the sound again. Knock, knock, knock. Not from the backyard this time. From inside the wall. Dev sat up so fast his bedsheet fell to his waist. The knocking wasn't loud. More like someone tapping politely, patiently, as if they knew he was awake and wanted him to prove it. He slid off the bed, bare feet on cold tiles, and pressed his ear to the wall. Silence. He almost laughed at himself, until the knocking returned, now slightly lower, traveling downward, like fingers tracing the inside of the house. Knock, knock, knock. Dev backed away, heart galloping. His eyes landed on the desk, where the black stone sat wrapped in an old handkerchief like that made it harmless. He hadn't been able to throw it away. Every time he picked it up, it felt important, warm, like a tiny beating heart. The knocking stopped. The room room fell into the kind of quiet that felt wrong, like the house was holding its breath. Then his phone buzzed. A message from Mira. Mira, did you hear it too? Dev's throat tightened. DEV? Hear what? The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Mira. The knock. It came from my closet, like someone was inside. Dev stared at the screen until it blurred. Another buzz, this time from Rishi. Rishi. Bro. Tell me you're awake. My bathroom mirror is fogging up by itself. Dev swallowed hard and typed with trembling thumbs. DEV. Don't mess around. If this is a prank, it's not funny. Rishi replied instantly. Rishi. I'm not pranking. I swear. There's words on it. Dev's skin went cold. DEV. What words? A photo came through. A bathroom mirror, fogged like someone had taken a hot shower, except Rishi's reflection was clear enough to show his face pale and terrified. On the fogged glass, letters had been written with a finger. Open it. Dev's room felt smaller, the air thicker, like something unseen leaned in close to read over his shoulder. His closet door creaked, just a little. Dev turned slowly toward it. The closet wasn't open, not really, but the seam along the door where it met the frame was darker than it should be, like the shadow inside had deepened. Then, knock, knock, knock. From behind the closet door. Dev stumbled backward, bumping into his desk. The handkerchief slid and the black stone rolled to the edge, then stopped on its own as if it had decided it wanted to face the closet. Dev's mouth went dry. He didn't want to move, didn't want to breathe. But the door began to move anyway, not swinging, not opening. It twitched, like something on the other side was testing it, feeling the latch, learning. Dev grabbed his phone and called Mira. It rang twice. Ah! She answered in a whisper like she was hiding under her bed. Dev. It knows my name. Dev's stomach dropped. What do you mean? He hissed. On the other end, something creaked in Mira's room. Wood straining, slow and heavy. My closet door opened by itself, Mira said. And Dev, I heard breathing, and like someone was right there. Then it whispered. Her voice broke. It whispered, Mira. Dev's closet door clicked. The latch. Unlocked. A long, thin gap opened at the top, like a mouth starting to smile. Dev backed toward the bed, eyes locked on the darkness inside. Mira, don't go near it, he whispered. Don't. A new sound cut him off. Rishi was screaming in the background of the call, faint, distant, but unmistakable. Mira gasped, Rishi? Rishi? Dev heard it then too through Mira's phone, like a second voice layered beneath Rishi's panicked sobbing. A low, calm whisper. Not Mira. Not Rishi. Not human. Open it, open it, open it. Dev's closet door swung outward a full inch, and the smell hit him. Wet earth, old rot, and something metallic, like blood on cold pennies. From the darkness inside, something shifted, not stepping out, just leaning forward enough for Dev to see it. A hand, too long, too thin. Fingers like pale roots. And on the wrist, engraved into the skin like burned-in ink, was the same symbol Dev had drawn in salt in the backyard. The fingers tapped the closet frame. Knock, knock, knock. Dev couldn't move, couldn't scream. The hand withdrew slowly like it was being polite. The closet door stopped. And the voice, now inside Dev's room, inches from his ear, whispered the last thing he wanted to hear. "You kept my seed." Dev's gaze snapped to the black stone on the desk. It wasn't still anymore, it was trembling. Like something inside it was waking up. Dev didn't remember getting under the blanket. 1 second he was standing there staring at the closet gap like it was a gun pointed at him. And the next, he was on his bed, sheet pulled up to his chin, phone clenched so tight his knuckles hurt. The closet door was shut again. Perfectly shut. No gap. No smell. No hand. That was the worst part. Because it meant it could do things and then undo them, like it didn't want proof, like it wanted only him to know. His phone screen lit up with Mira's name again. He answered without speaking. On the other end, Mira was breathing hard, trying not to cry. "Rishi's not answering," she whispered. He stopped screaming and then nothing. Like the call dropped, but it didn't. It's still connected. Dev listened. At first there was only static and Mira's shaky breaths. Then he heard it. A faint sound, like nails being dragged along something smooth. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Dev sat up slowly, eyes crawling toward the window. The sound wasn't coming through Mira's phone. It was in his room. From the outside, something was scratching the window screen. Dev didn't move, didn't blink. The curtains were drawn, but the bottom edge lifted slightly in the air conditioning drift, just enough to reveal the dark rectangle of the window. The scratching paused. Dev's breath caught. Then it started again. Higher this time, deliberate, as if whatever it was had found the part of the screen closest to his face. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Mira whispered into his ear like she could see it too. "Dev, are you hearing that?" He forced himself to speak. "Don't say its name," he said, barely a sound. Don't talk to it. Don't invite it." There was a soft click in Mira's background, like a door being pushed open. "Dev," Mira breathed. "My closet is opening again." Dev's eyes stayed on his own curtains. The scratching stopped. A second of dead quiet. Then, tap, tap, tap. Not scratching anymore, tapping. Like someone had changed their mind and decided to be polite. Dev slid a hand under the pillow and grabbed the little metal flashlight he kept there, mostly for power cuts. He clicked it on and aimed it at the curtains. The beam made a pale glow through the fabric. A shadow moved behind the curtain. Not a person's shadow. Something thinner. Too tall. And the head shape was wrong, like it didn't know what a human skull was supposed to look like. Dev's throat tightened. The tapping became slower. Tap, tap, tap. A shape pressed into the screen from outside, pushing the mesh inward slightly, as if a face leaned close. But there were no features, just darkness. And then the darkness shifted. Dev saw a pale line appear along the screen, like wet chalk being drawn. A word, slowly spelled, letter by something he couldn't see. OPEN. Dev's hand trembled so badly the flashlight beam jittered. Mira started crying softly on the phone. "It's in my room," she whispered. "It's breathing like it's right beside me." Dev didn't answer. He couldn't. His focus was locked on his window like the world had narrowed to that one rectangle of night. The word on the screen completed. Open. Then, beneath it, another line of chalky pale marks began. A second word. It wrote slowly, like it wanted Dev to feel each letter. T-H-E. Dev's mouth went dry. P-I-T. Dev's blood went cold. Open the pit. A sudden gust hit the window. Not wind, not natural. The curtain billowed outward toward Dev like the room had exhaled. The tapping stopped. Silence. Then the screen bowed inward hard, like something slammed its head against it from outside. Dev flinched back. The light flickered. Once, twice. Then went out. Darkness swallowed the room. Mira's voice trembled through the phone. Dev, it's saying something. Dev held the phone to his ear. He could hear Mira's sobs, could hear faint, wet breathing behind her. And underneath it all, low and calm, like a prayer said backwards, a voice murmured through Mira's call, "The seed is awake." Dev's phone went ice cold in his hand. Not just cold, freezing. His breath fogged the air. He turned his head slowly toward his desk, where the black stone sat. He couldn't see it in the darkness, but he could feel it. A faint vibration, like a tiny engine humming, like a heartbeat. And then, inside his closet, something knocked. Knock, knock, knock. Dev shut his eyes tight. And behind his eyelids, a vision bloomed like a stain. A backyard. His backyard. Moonlight on grass. And the pit, no longer shallow. In the vision, it was deeper, wider. Like the ground had been digging itself. And at the bottom of it, something moved and looked up. Dev gasped and his eyes flew open. The flashlight clicked on by itself. The beam landed on the closet door. And there, carved into the wood, fresh pale gouges like someone had used a fingernail, was the same message as the window. Open the pit. But there was one more line under it. Smaller. Like a secret. Like a promise. Or I'll open you. Dev didn't go to school the next day, neither did Mira. Rishi didn't answer anything, calls, texts, nothing. His last message was still burned into Dev's brain. Open it. By late afternoon, Dev sat on his bedroom floor with the curtains shut, staring at the closet like it was staring back. The carved words were still there, pale and fresh in the wood. Open the pit, or I'll open you. He hadn't told his parents. What would he even say? Hey, Mom, I invited a thing from the dirt, and now it's writing threats on my closet. His phone buzzed. A location pin. From Mira. Mira, come outside, now. But don't look at the tree. Dev's stomach flipped. He typed back. DEV. What tree? No reply. Just the pin. So he did what fear always makes you do. He obeyed. He crept out of his house while his parents argued over TV volume and jogged down the street toward Mira's place. The neighborhood felt wrong, like the afternoon light was dimmer than it should be. Mira was waiting at the edge of her backyard, arms wrapped around herself, eyes glassy and wide. It's out there, she whispered, voice cracking. It's been out there since 3:17. Dev looked past her. In the far corner of her yard stood an old tree, one of those skinny, ugly ones that somehow survived every storm, its branches bent like claws. "Don't look at it," Mira repeated. "Not at the trunk, not under it, just trust me." Dev swallowed. "Mira, where's Rishi?" Mira flinched like his name was a slap. "I don't know, but I heard him." Dev's blood went cold. "You heard him?" Mira nodded, tears pooling. "From under the tree, like he was standing there, but he wasn't. It was his voice, Dev. It said my name." Dev couldn't help it. His eyes drifted just a little toward the tree. At first he saw nothing. Then the shadows under the branches seemed to deepen, thickening into a shape that didn't match the sun. A silhouette. Too still. Too tall. Dev's throat tightened. Mira grabbed his wrist so hard it hurt. "Don't!" she hissed. Dev tore his eyes away, heart thumping. "Why can't we look?" Mira whispered like she was confessing a sin. "Because it notices. And when it notices, it learns where you are." Dev stared at the grass, not the tree. "Mira, we need to end this. We need to undo it." Mira's lips trembled. "We can't. It said something last night. It said the pit is just the mouth." Dev frowned. "Then what's the tree?" Mira's voice dropped into something barely human. "The spine!" A branch snapped behind them. They both spun, but not toward the tree, toward the back door of Mira's house. Her back door was open. Mira hadn't opened it. And from inside the dark hallway, something knocked. Knock, knock, knock. Like it was already in. They ran. Not far, just to Dev's place, because Dev's parents were home, and that felt safer even if it was a lie. They didn't tell the parents anything. They sat at the kitchen table pretending they were doing homework, while Dev's mom talked about groceries and Dev's dad complained about the neighbor's dog. But the air in the house felt watched. The black stone, Dev had shoved it into a shoebox, still made the floor faintly warm beneath his bed, like it was sleeping but breathing. At exactly 7:03 p.m., the house went silent. Not normal silent. The fridge hum stopped. The wall clock stopped ticking mid-second. Even Dev's dad, mid-sentence, froze with his mouth open, then blinked and continued like nothing happened. Dev and Mira stared at each other. "Did you?" Dev began. Mira put a finger to her lips instantly. Her eyes were pleading. "Don't." Dev's phone buzzed. A message, unknown number, silence game. Rule 1, don't speak. Rule 2, don't look behind you. Rule 3, if you hear your name, you lose. Dev's stomach sank like a stone. He showed Mira. Mira's face drained of color. Then, from the hallway behind them, a soft, dragging sound, like bare feet on tile. Dev kept his eyes forward. Mira did too. Their parents continued talking, laughing, living, completely unaware. The dragging sound came closer. Dev could feel it now. Not like sound, but like pressure. Like something standing just behind his chair, leaning in to smell his hair. Mira's hands shook in her lap. The kitchen light flickered once, then steadied. Dev's phone buzzed again. "It's your turn." Mira's eyes filled with tears. And then a whisper right between Dev and Mira, like a breath sliding between them. "Mira." Mira jolted. Her mouth opened. like a reflex. Dev's eyes went wide. He mouthed, "Don't." But fear is faster than logic. Mira whispered back without meaning to. "What?" The second she spoke, the kitchen light blew out. Total darkness. Dev's parents' voices didn't stop. They continued talking in the dark like it was daytime. But Dev and Mira were in a different world now. Something touched Mira's shoulder, a hand, too cold. Mira's body went rigid. Then the hand pulled. Mira slid backward off her chair without her feet moving, like the floor had turned into ice. Dev reached for her, grabbed air. Mira's nails scraped the tile, her mouth open in a silent scream as she was dragged down the hallway, into the darkness where the closet door in Dev's room waited. Dev ran after her. The hallway was pitch black, but he could see the outline of her being pulled, like the darkness had a shape. Then Mira vanished around the corner. Dev reached the corner and froze. Because Dev's bedroom door was open, and his closet door was open too, a black gap like a throat. And from inside it came a sound that made Dev's bones feel weak. Rishi's voice. "Dev, help me." Dev's eyes stung, because it was perfect. It was Rishi. But it came from a place that didn't have air. And behind Rishi's voice, something else breathed, slow and patient, like it had all the time in the world. Dev's phone buzzed a third time. Rule 4. The one who opened it must close it. Dev's fingers trembled as he stepped toward the closet, and from deep inside the dark, Mira's voice, faint and broken. "Dev, don't let it wear us." Ev didn't sleep, didn't eat, didn't even blink right. He sat in his room with the closet door shut again. Somehow it had shut on its own after Mira was taken, staring at it like staring could keep it sealed. He'd tried everything people online said to do. Salt lines across windows, Bible verses on paper, a bowl of water under the bed, lights on, music on, prayers he didn't believe. Nothing worked. Because it wasn't a ghost in the house. It was an answer to a call. And it wanted what was promised when Dev spoke those wrong words in the backyard. At 2:16 a.m., Dev's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered with shaking hands. Rishi's voice came through quiet, like he was under a blanket. "Dev, it's not me." Dev's breath hitched. "Rishi, where are you? Where's Mira?" Rishi whispered like every word hurt. "In the dark. It's wearing our voices. It's learning our faces. Dev, it wants the pit. It wants the mouth open again." Dev's throat tightened. "How do I stop it?" Rishi laughed softly, one sharp broken sound. "You can't stop it in the house. It's already anchored. The tree, Dev, the tree is the nail. The pit is the mouth, and the stone you kept is the..." A wet click came through the call, like something snapping its tongue. Rishi's voice changed slightly, just enough to ruin it. The seed. Dev's blood turned to ice. The voice on the phone wasn't Rishi anymore. It was something trying to be. "Bring it back to the pit," it whispered. "Open the mouth. Put my seed in, and I will give you your friends." Dev's hands shook violently. "If I do it, you'll leave?" A soft, amused breath on the line. "If you do it, I will finish arriving." The line went dead. Dev sat there, phone in hand, feeling the house around him, like a predator's ribs. His eyes slid to the shoebox under the bed. The black stone pulsed once, just a tiny tremor, like it heard the promise. Dev realized something that made him feel sick. It didn't matter if salt worked. It didn't matter if prayers worked. Because the thing was not trying to get in. It was already in. It was trying to get out. Dev grabbed the shoebox, stuffed it into his backpack, and stepped into the hallway. The house felt normal again. The clock ticked. The fridge hummed. But now Dev understood the trick. It could turn normal back on whenever it wanted. He walked out the back door into the yard. The night air hit him like cold water. The backyard was darker than it had any right to be. Even the stars seemed dim. And the tree at the far end? Dev didn't want to look at it, but his eyes pulled there anyway. Under the branches, the shadow was waiting, not moving, not swaying, just present, watching. Dev looked down and forced himself forward. Every step felt like walking into deeper water. He reached the spot. The circle where they had drawn salt. The place where they dug the pit. Dev dropped to his knees and started digging with his hands. The dirt was soft, too soft, like it wanted to be opened. He dug fast, breathing hard until his fingers hit something hollow. Not rock, not roots, a space. The pit's mouth. Dev's hands froze. A whisper rose from the hole like warm breath. Good boy? Dev's stomach turned. The shadow under the tree shifted. A fraction closer. Dev opened the shoebox. The black stone sat inside, gleaming in the moonlight like an eye. His hand hovered over it. And then from behind him, a voice, soft and broken. Dev. Mira. Dev's heart exploded with hope. He whipped around. Mira stood near the fence, barefoot, hair hanging over her face, wearing the same clothes from yesterday. Mira, he cried, stepping toward her. She lifted her head slowly. Her eyes were wrong. Not a possessed movie wrong. Worse. Empty like a doll's. And her mouth smiled a little too wide. Salt won't work, she said, voice layered with something else beneath it. But you can? Dev stopped dead. The shadow moved again. And now Dev saw it clearly in the corner of his vision. Something tall unfolding from under the tree like a person standing up after kneeling for a long time. It didn't rush. It didn't need to. It had Dev exactly where it wanted him. Mira took one slow step forward. Put the seed in, she said. Open the mouth. Dev's hands shook. He backed up toward the pit, then froze. Because the pit wasn't a hole anymore. It was wider, deeper. And something inside it was moving like darkness had muscle. Dev clutched the stone. He finally understood the last rule. The one who opened it must close it. But you can't close a mouth by feeding it. You close it by choking it. Dev's eyes burned with tears. I'm sorry, he whispered, not sure if he meant Mira, Rishi, or himself. Then he did the only thing he could think of. He raised the stone high and slammed it into the edge of the pit as hard as he could. The stone cracked. A sound like glass breaking underwater. The air screamed. The backyard lights on the neighbors' houses exploded one by one, popping in the distance like fireworks. The shadow under the tree jerked, as if something inside it yanked the chain. Mira's body convulsed, mouth opening in a soundless wail. Dev smashed the stone again and again. Black liquid, not blood, not water, leaked out of the cracks, sinking into the dirt like ink into paper. The pit shuddered. The whisper turned into a howl. And then silence. Real silence. The kind that makes your ears ring. Dev dropped the broken stone pieces into the pit with shaking hands, grabbed loose dirt, and buried them fast, packing the soil down until his nails tore and mud smeared his arms. When he finished, the backyard felt lighter. The shadow under the tree was gone. Mira was gone too. Dev sat in the dirt, sobbing, staring at the buried spot like it might breathe again. His phone buzzed. A new message. Unknown number. Dev's hands trembled as he read it. You didn't close the door. You closed my eye. I can still see you through the other one. Dev's breath hitched. He looked up slowly. And on the second floor of his house, the Densulam behind his bedroom window, the closet door was open. Just a crack. Like something inside was smiling.